Okay, let's go. Let's get through practice test number 3. And here's how this is going to work. The review is for you, not for me. So if I have to stop and ask you to be quiet, if you're not being attentive, then I will just stop and sit down, and we will have a test on Monday, and I will you're on your own. So if you want me to help you, we need to be calm. I know it's Friday. I know you've all had lunch. You all just want to get the heck out of here. But we want to review. So we are 100,000% ready for this test on Monday. Okay. So here we go. We will start at the beginning. There will be a couple of problems that are tough, but we will fight our way through as long as we're paying attention. And boys in the back, you will not be popular if I stop because you can't behave. Now, I see Adam just doing something that I think is a great idea. At least I think that's what he was doing. He took a picture of his blank test.
Dude, up high, everybody.
Because he knows that we have a weekend and that we may want to practice this a little bit more. And so he will now have a blank copy that he can practice on his own. So before we start writing on this, you might want to consider the same thing. Okay. First problem.
You look pretty cool on Monday today.
And last night.
You did great at the open house.
Step 1.
Factor.
Why are you putting your feet on my furniture?
Oh.
Yeah, Robbie, why are you putting your feet on our table?
No, and Robbie, don't lean back against the wall with the chairs.
And you're messing up her posters.
Come on,
where that
Robbie.
staple goes in there. Gosh. Darn it, Robbie.
Here we go. Step 1, we're going to factor. Right?
Yes.
So I'm going to factor everything. Now, do you notice you can take a 2 out of the denominator?
Yeah, and it's X plus 1.
So now my factorization will be on the top, x minus 5, x plus 1. And on the bottom, 2 times x minus 1, x plus 1.
Cross out.
Now we can see that we have something that cancels. So I am going to end up graphing y equals x minus 5 over 2 times x minus 1. But before I get into that, I want to pay attention to my canceled thing. So I'm going to have a whole where x equals 1, or negative 1, where x equals negative 1. So my whole is where I canceled, and I canceled out x plus 1, which means the whole is at negative 1. To get the y coordinate, I will take the negative 1 that came out of the x here, and I will plug it in. So I'll get negative 6. I'm plugging in negative 1 right here. So I get negative 6 over 2 times negative 2.
Negative 4.
So negative 6 over negative 4 reduces to 3/2.
1.5.
So I am going to plot the point at negative 1, 3/2. And it is a nice open circle because that's my whole. At negative 1, 3/2. Now I'm ready. I'm looking right here. And I'm ready to put some other stuff into the picture now.
Horizontal asymptote is 2.
Not 2,
Negative 2.
1/2. The horizontal asymptote is y equals 1/2. And it's y equals 1/2, kids, because on the top you have 1x, and on the bottom you have 2x. 1x over 2x is 1/2. That's your horizontal asymptote. All right, what else do we have? Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Oh, no, I got you. The vertical asymptote is on the negative 1/2.
The vertical asymptote is what makes the denominator 0, which is x equals 1. That's my vertical asymptote. Now my intercepts. I want you to not be worried about which one's which. We'll figure that out as we go. Just know that one of them has a 0 in the x spot and one of them has a 0 in the y spot, right? That's how you find intercepts. So don't put them in the blanks yet. Let's just figure out what they are. So if I put a 0 in for y, excuse me, x, if I put a 0 in for x, on top I'd have -5, and on the bottom I'd have -2.
5 halves.
So I have a point at 0, 5 halves. Now where did I plot that point? On which axis?
Y.
This is the y-intercept. Now you can put it in the blank. It's the y-intercept because you plotted it on the y-axis. Now I'm going to let y be 0. So this comes over here. And what does x end up equaling? 5. That is the x-intercept. Do we have enough to graph it now? Can you get a picture out of that?
Yeah.
Hopefully the picture you get will look like this. Okay. Next page. I'm missing Jimmy and Natalie. Jack, anybody must sit at your table?
No.
Michael's right there.
Okay, now we're ready for the next page. Here we go. X squared less than or equal to 2x. Raise your hand if you know what the first step is.
Subtract the 2x's.
Get it on
You
one
gotta
side.
get a 0. So I've heard 3 different ways. Somebody said subtract 2x. Somebody said get it all on one side. Somebody said get a 0. That all means the same thing. So x squared minus 2x.
That factors. Well, you can take the x out.
Now we factor it, and we factor it. It's not a normal factoring. We factor it by just taking out the x. That's all you can do, is just take out the x. Now there are two, once you get it factored, you go to your number line. There are 2 dots on the number line. Where will the dots be?
0 and 2.
0 and 2. So I'm going to have my number line. I'm going to have a dot at 0 and a dot at 2. Those dots will be closed.
You thought about that.
Now what do?
You got a shade.
I pick a number so I can figure out where to shade. I got to pick a number. 1. Somebody said 1. 1's great. Doesn't have to be 1. You can pick any number you want that's not a dot. So I'll pick 1. When I put 1 in,
1.
that's positive.
Yep.
And that's negative.
That's negative.
Now, when I multiply those, I get negative. Is that what I wanted?
Yes.
Yes.
0 is greater than or equal to.
So these aren't going to work
Less than.
because we skip, alternate. So your answer is all of the x's between 0 and 2.
Wait. Never mind.
Next. This one can be hard, but I think we went through it the other day and you all seem to get it pretty well. So let's see if you can remember. This has a lot of steps.
You gotta subtract 2.
Very good, Adam Neal. We need to subtract 2. So we're going to subtract 2. And Adam, when we subtract 2, let's think about it as a fraction. Because we need to get one fraction over here. We don't want two things. We want one thing. And if we think about this as a fraction, hopefully we know what we need to do. If we want to make one fraction over here, we're going to need to get a common denominator. And that common denominator will be x plus 5.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that the 2 has a denominator of x plus 5. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by x plus 5. Now I can write one fraction because I have one denominator. Now the numerator is still a mess, but we can fix that. Our first goal was to get one denominator. We got it. So on the top we have x minus 1 minus 2 times x plus 5. So now we'll do distributive and cleanup work. Which is negative x minus 11 over x plus 5. Right?
Yep.
I am not worried about this. I know I'm going to have 2 dots on my number line. I know that one of the dots will be at negative 5. Now I can guess the other one,
Negative 11.
or I can just solve that to figure out what's going to make that equal 0. And it turns out that what makes it equal 0 is negative 11. Yes, Ellen, you can. I don't want to do that, but you can. So I'm going to have a dot at negative 11 and negative 5. Right? Now, I'm going to check a point. What point am I going to check?
0. Negative.
You can check whatever point you want as long as it's not a dot. I'm
0.
going to check 0 because that's easiest for me, but I got to remember 0's out here. This is where 0 is. I want my result to be positive. If I plug in 0, I get a negative over a positive.
It's a negative.
Does a negative over a positive give me what I want?
No.
No. So that didn't work. This will, that won't. Your answer is everything between negative 11 and negative 5.
That's a question. I know you're probably going to kill me for asking.
Probably.
But when do you shade in one and not shade in the other? Is that
Oh, I got
fraction?
it. Let me answer this
Okay,
one.
Michael?
When there's a square.
No.
When there's a denominator.
When there's
Oh,
a
denominator. I'm sorry.
And
And
it's
if-
like greater than or equal.
Yeah. This one had a denominator,
That's what I was
but
saying.
it didn't have a greater than or equal to.
Oh,
There's no greater than or equal
it's
to.
just greater than.
Just a greater than.
But if that one had a greater than or equal to, then one of those is then.
The numerator will be colored in, but the denominator's never colored in.
Yeah.
The denominator never gets colored in.
Yeah.
Okay, did everybody follow all those steps? a big problem. You might want to practice it again over the weekend. All right, C has its own challenges, but at least it's factored. Okay, C is factored for me, so that's good news. Uh-oh, we're starting to lose focus.
Not gonna alternate.
It's not going to alternate because it has a
Square's got to do
square.
every one.
Now, the good news is there's only 2 dots. -1 and 2 are my dots. The bad news is you have to check every region. Okay? So here we go. Checking
0.
the first region. Now remember, this means positive. I'm looking for positive results.
0.
Well, I'm going to put in something over here first. I have to do all 3. So I'll put in -2. Now be really careful here. Beady the lies up here. When you put in -2, the parentheses is negative, but you're squaring it. So it ends up positive. This one, however, when you put in -2, it stays negative.
No, it doesn't
Does
work.
that work?
No.
No, because you wanted positive.
0.
Okay, so now let's go ahead and plug in 0 now. Again, when you plug it in, the parentheses is negative, but it's being squared, so it's positive.
And the other one's positive too.
This one would be positive too, so that now we'll plug in 3. 3 gives me positive and positive, so this works. So everything bigger than -1 is colored, isn't it? Be careful.
Except 2.
Except 2. 2 is not colored, you guys, because it's an open dot. If it had been a closed dot, we'd be good. But everything bigger than -1 is colored in except for 2. So we have to write that down. Now, if you don't want to use this symbol, you can say except for -2, and I will give you credit for that. If you want to write the words, that's okay. If this had been a colored in dot, then we wouldn't worry about it.
God bless you.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Robbie, that's
now we have another hard problem.
Robbie, $10 cents doesn't work.
It's gonna get caught.
I give myself
0.
What do I do first on this problem?
You should,
Get everything on one side. Thank you. Then, so now I've got everything on one side. Now what has to happen?
Factor that bad boy.
It's got to be factored, but unfortunately, it does not factor by grouping.
Factoring.
Quadratic, synthetic division.
So I'm going to need to use the PRRs and synthetic division.
there's gonna be a lot though.
Okay.
1, 2, 4, 6.
Michael says there are a lot of PRRs, and you're right. Let me give you the same hint I've been giving you all year. Try 1 and -1, and if they don't work, try 2 and -2. Don't just start in trying some like 12 or something like that. Start with the little numbers because they're easier to handle. 1 does not work.
-1 does.
-1 does not work.
-2 does.
I don't know, I think 2 does. So I'm going to put 2, I'm going to divide 2 through. Now, some of you are very lazy,
Yeah, I do know.
This
and
includes
you
myself.
won't do the work that this problem requires. Chad, get your head up, please. Robbie, get your head up.
Oh,
Head
Told you,
up,
Robbie.
up.
Not even 5 minutes.
that was like a minute and a half.
Now, I guessed the number 2, and it worked. So I divided it out. Now what's left?
X squared minus
X squared minus x minus 12? Which factors? Very good. Now, please listen to me. I'm going to say something important here. Kids will take this, they're all excited. 2 works, yay, divided it out, great, factor, super.
You gotta put the other way.
Draw the number line,
You gotta put 2.
put on a -3 and a 4, and say, I'm done, and you're not, because you need this one, right?
-2 on the number line.
So there is, no. Shh.
It'd be 2 on the number line.
The factor will be x minus 2, because the parentheses is the opposite. But the dot on the number line will be at 2.
Oh my god.
The dot on the number line will be at 2. The Fatty, what are you doing? The dot on the number line will be at 2, but the factor will be x minus 2. And I want that to be bigger than or equal to 0, so these dots are all colored in.
So when we start plugging the numbers in, we plug into the new one.
When you plug the numbers in, you plug them in right here. Because otherwise you have to work them all out. Here, I'm only worried about being positive or negative. So if I pick 0, I can see it's negative, negative, positive. Does that work for me? If I multiply a negative, and a positive, do I get positive?
Yeah.
Yes. So this part of the number line works.
The next one doesn't.
This wouldn't, this wouldn't, this would.
Bang, bang.
So my answer is everything between -3 and 2 or bigger than 4.
This is for it?
Yes.
I thought you said it's only like every other one if there's a denominator.
Oh, no. It's always every other one unless there's a squared in your problem.
Unless,
Whew, that was a hard one. Okay. Now we got an easy one.
Yeah. 6x.
All right, you are all paying attention. You know that in order to solve this, we need to find something that we can multiply by to get rid of the denominators. So what will cancel out a 3, an x, and a 6?
12x.
Somebody said 12x, somebody said 6x. Are they both okay?
Yeah.
Yep. I'll use 6 because it's a smaller number. But if you want to use 12, you are welcome to use 12. Your answer will be the same as mine. Here we go. 3 goes into 6 twice, leaving me with 4x. That cancels, leaving me with 24. And this leaves me with 5x.
Subtract the 4x over.
So 24 equals x. We are done and ready for the next problem.
Bang, bang.
Let's go.
Palm GP. Oh, block.
We're almost done. Let's see if we can hang on for 3 more problems, guys. Here we go.
My camera's getting kind of scared.
Yeah. My fake cheap keep gun.
Okay, x over x plus 2.
No, I promise. I'll tell you this
Now,
later. It's funny.
Timmy, would you shut up, please? Being the lazy person that I am, I went ahead and factored this instead of recopying.
It's
Is
okay.
everybody okay with that denominator?
I'll forgive you.
Jason? X plus 2x minus 2? Now this is just like the last one, you guys. Your job, Jack, get your head up. Your job is to figure out what we need to multiply by that will cancel out x plus 2 and x minus 2. Well, that's pretty easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going to multiply by x plus 2 and x minus 2. Now, John Rush, what am I going to be left with here in my very first term? What's left after I do my canceling?
X minus X parentheses X minus 2.
Perfect. All right. Piconi, what's left in the middle here?
Just the quantity x plus 2 times the quantity x minus 2. Wait, yeah.
No.
How about 1?
These are canceling, so all I have left is minus 1.
21.
Alex, you paying attention?
Yes.
What's left here?
2x minus.
Alex, look, you don't need to consult. This is going to cancel, so what's left?
Just 2x plus 4.
2 times x plus 2, which, yes, distributes to become that. So we have x squared minus 2x minus 1 equals, as Alex said, 2x plus 4. What do I do now, Cody Stockton?
Put all the terms together.
Exactly. I'm moving everything over, getting my 0 again. So I'll have x squared minus 4x minus 5.
And then you,
That will factor. Now, you don't have to factor it. If you'd rather use the quadratic formula, some of you like to do that, you can do that. But this does factor, which tells me, Reagan, that my answers will be -1 and 5. Now, I do want to check those, remember, to see if they're extraneous. They are not. So this time, I'm going to keep both answers. Word problems. 2 problems and we're done. Here we go.
Oh yeah, can we do these on the board?
I will do these and then I'll give you some to do on the board if you want. All right. Here we go.
really, mine like this.
What is the general formula, Megan Berry, for problem number 1 or 3A? 3A, general formula.
Amount times percent plus amount. No.
Oh, 1 over loan plus 1 over loan equals, so use 1 number together.
Exactly. This is our general format for problem A. Notice the directions, label your answers. Let's not forget that. So, Meredith Schmidt, can you set me up the equation?
1 over 10 plus 1 over x equals 1 over 8.
All right, Meredith has done a wonderful job. You need to make sure that you put the 10 here, the 8 here, and an x here. Because the question asks for Maura's time alone. Maura's time alone. Now, we're going to multiply this equation by whatever we can think of
40x.
that will cancel a 10, an x, and an 8.
40x.
Somebody said 40, somebody else said 80. It doesn't matter. Multiply by whatever you can think of that will cancel 10, x, and 8. I'm using 40 because it's the smallest. So this would leave me with 4x plus 40 equals 5x.
Subtract 4x over. And then it actually
So
is 40.
x equals 40 hours. That's how long it takes Maura.
Probably.
Potter, what is the general formula for problem B?
Amount times percent minus, or plus amount times percent equals amount times percent.
Good job.
Good job, Potter.
Now, we're gonna plug in the percentages. 53, 30, 45. There is no explaining, they are right there. They're in the problem, so we just plug them into our formula. Now, where do I put the 12? That's the only other number I have.
45.
That goes with the 45. That means that these two added together make 12. This is the question, how much? So we'll just call that one X. What's this one gonna be?
12 plus X.
Not 12 plus X, 12 minus X. These two have to add up to this one. These two add up to this one. If this were X and this were 12, then this would be X plus 12. But it's backwards. This is the 12. So this is 12 minus X. So 0.53X plus 3.6 minus 0.30X equals, what is 45 times 12? 540, 5.4?
Subtract the 5.4.
So these guys can be combined 0.23X. So 0.23X equals 1.8. Remember, you got a calculator, so don't be freaking about the arithmetic. X equals 1.8 divided by 0.23. Can somebody do that for me? I cannot do that in my head.
0.7826. 7.826.
7.826. And the unit on that would be gallons. And you did it. Practice test 3
Yes.
complete.
Yes. Thank God. I'm still gonna watch this video, so. that's right.
Now, here is what I need to say to you. Your test is Monday. You need to practice over the weekend. There's too much time between now and then. You'll forget stuff. So make sure you do some practice. We have about what, 10 minutes left?
Yeah.
Okay, so here are our choices.
Let's play
I
Hit the
don't
Dirt.
care. I can put some more practice
Let's
problems
play
on the
I
board
Spy.
and you can come up and work that.
Purple.
You can sit at your seats and finish practice test 1 if you still don't have that done.
It's over here.
I don't care. What's best
Hey.
for us?
Miss X.
Let's do that thing where we like you put a thing on the board and then everyone.
Hey, Miss Ford.
Oh, a group problem?
No, Miss Ford, we should play a game.
Can I go to the bathroom?
No.
Miss Ford, you know the game where like 4 people go up and then like you race? Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
Miss Ford, do that. You write a problem on the board and 4 people go up and they race to see who gets answer
They
first.
hit the ground.
Oh, yeah,
that would be
I don't
really
do
fun.
races.
I know. Miss Ford, you have to touch the ground when you're done, and it's called Hit the Dirt.
I can't go fast.
You should take a class vote.
No. I think we should practice one of the hard problems. So, here's how we're going to do this. Shh. If you are interested in practicing one of the hard problems, I want you to be participating. We're going to do what Ellie said. Somebody's going to come up and do the first step, and then somebody will come up and do the second step, and we can fix it. If somebody makes a mistake, you can fix it. So we'll do that. If that does not interest you, I am asking you to keep your mouth shut and do whatever it is you want to do. Okay? I don't want to force you to participate in this, but I don't want you bothering me either. All right? So here we go. Here's the problem. We'll do a hard one.
Can I go to the bathroom?
No. The bell's going to ring in a few minutes.
Oh my god, I didn't know. I really didn't know.
All right, here we go.
I got it.
Step 1. All right, now, if you're interested in participating, be copying this down. It's a new problem. Copy it down. Michael's going to do step 1.
This is four, come here.
And if you want to do the next step, you can also, Michael.
What's the bet for this?
Oh, really?
Okay, well.
What's the bet? 95, 95. Yeah. 96?
I'll do it.
You want the next step?
98 or above.
I'll go after Meredith.
And what?
Yeah, you don't wanna be.
You get a 98 or above. I make retreats. You get 97 or below. You
Or how about 97 or below, you transfer both Robbie and Timmy out of this class as soon as possible.
Put your head up. You can't be sick of this.
That's sick, you just said we could do whatever we want.
I said you had to do something. Well, I didn't say. I meant you had to do something
I know, well, you said whatever you wanted, that was
Do
direct.
something productive. Take your hood off, Michael.
Michael, why do you have two jackets on?
What?
You just threw on it, thanks.
I'm cold.
There you go, man. Good job. Good job.
Just gonna do it.
Hey, you know that, Miss Ford, have you ever got those tissues with the blue dots in them? If you tear those apart halfway and you lick the blue dots, they're sour. They're sour.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Wait, what is it? If you would?
I'm gonna bring you one. So you know those tissues with the blue dots on them?
Yeah.
If you like, you know how toilet papers like rip apart at the middle? If you do that and lick one side of the blue
Okay,
dots,
good
it's
job,
sour.
Meredith. Who can do the next step?
That's just like licking.
Why would you lick Kleenex? I don't get it. Just stop it. Who can do the next step for me?
I'm gonna bring some.
Go ahead, Meredith. Nobody else. Ellen, you want to do this?
Meredith, your hair is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Miss Ford, you know those rubber bands? If you eat those rubber bands, you'll probably get sick.
You can eat Crocs.
Yeah, you can put them in the dishwasher.
You're busy.
I'm slowly eating my mattress.
Why?
See, I really want a new Tempur-Pedic, but my mom won't give me one, so my other one's worn out. And there's like a 10-year warranty, but I've only had it for 3 years, so I just started eating it. I'm about 1/8 of the way.
Now, this is one of the hard ones. Because Meredith is now at the point, she's done a magnificent job, and she is at the point now where she's ready to put dots on the number line, but she doesn't know where to put them. So she is going to
Oh my God.
solve her numerator so that she can figure out exactly where to put that second dot.
I'd rather.
You have them. She has.
Now she got a fraction, negative 14 thirds. In order to know where to put it, she'll probably change that into a mixed number or decimal. You'll have your calculator. 4 1/3. Negative 4 1/3. Negative 4 2/3. Yeah. Good work. Now, she's almost done. She says, I don't want to do the rest, which is okay, but she's almost done. All she has to do is what?
Change.
Yeah. So maybe we'll try 0. 0 would give me a negative over a positive.
You need a heater upper, I got you.
Which is what I wanted.
But hey, don't you have to color one of those dots in?
I do. We haven't done that part yet. One of the dots gets colored. This one gets colored.
Because that was the denominator and never gets colored.
Exactly. So your answer to your problem is everything less than negative 4 2/3 or greater than negative 3.
You're welcome.
Good work.
just chill now?